Good morning. Welcome to worship with the community of First Unitarian Church of Omaha. I'm Nadine Keith, your worship associate this morning. And whether you're attending online or in person, I'm glad you've chosen to be with us. A special welcome to visitors. This congregation is a community of all ages and abilities. It's a community with a rainbow of gender and sexual identities. It's a community of diverse cultural and class backgrounds. We draw from many sources of inspiration and share common liberal religious values. Whoever you may be, we welcome you to bring your whole self into this community. Those in the sanctuary are invited after the service to adjourn to the common room downstairs, where tea, coffee, and conversation are available. And if you prefer, you may take your disposable cup into the garden and meet for fellowship there. Each week we acknowledge that where we meet for worship as the First Unitarian Church of Omaha is the land of the Omaha Oto Nations, and that indigenous people in the greater community have become marginalized and made invisible. May we recognize their presence among us and work with them to resolve the issues of poverty, displaced children, and murdered and missing indigenous women, the MMIW. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. We will now have the chalice lighting with Neva Kozine. Neva is a member of our sister church team. Go ahead. If there were ever a time for a candle in the darkness, this would be it. Using a spark of hope, kindle the flame of love, ignite the light of peace, and feed the flame of justice. Thank you, Neva. Now we'll have an opening song by the EMR.
Rider, stone born a fine night flyer. I'm an angel of the morning to the promise that the dawn will bring you. I'm the melody and the space between every note the swallow sings, 14 vultures circling. I'm that crawling, dying thing. I'm the smoke up above the trees, good Lord. Fire in the branch that's burning, Lord. Maybe you were sleeping, Lord. Mary, she's not weeping no more. Yeah, I'm a midnight rider, stone bona fide night flyer. I'm an angel of the morning to promise that the dawn will bring you. You by. I'm 6 fireflies, 1 street light, suffocating summer night. I'm each of his steps on the stairway. I'm a shadow on the door frame. I'm the tap, tap of a lunar moth. I'm the stale beer on his breath. His soul is trapped in that room, but I crawled back in my mother's womb. Came back out with my gold and my greens. Now I see everything. Now I feel everything. Good Lord, what the hell could they bring to stop me, Lord? Nothing from the earth, nothing from the sea, not a God Almighty thing. Yeah, I'm a midnight rider, stone bona fide night flyer. I'm an angel of the morning to promise that the dawn will bring you. I'm the wounded bird, I'm the screaming hawk, I'm the one who can't be counted out. I'm the dove thrown into battle, I can roll and shake and rattle. I'm the moon's dark side, I'm the solar flare, child of the earth, child of the air. I am the mother of the evening star, I am the love that conquers all. Yeah, I'm a midnight rider, stone bona fide night flyer. I'm an angel of the morning to promise that the dawn will bring you. Yeah, I'm a midnight rider, stone bona fide night flyer. I'm an angel of the morning to promise that the dawn will bring you.
Thank you, EMR, for sharing Night Flyer. Now it's time for the story for all ages with Christina Strong.
Good? Okay. Good morning. I'm Christina Strong. I'm the Director of Lifespan Religious Education here at First Unitarian. If we have anyone young or young at heart who would like to see the pictures better, you're welcome to come forward. Our story today is Share Some Kindness, Bring Some Light. You'll notice it has a bit of a winter theme. That's when a lot of our stories about light tend to be. A little out of place here, but we'll dedicate it to our friends in Colorado Springs and Denver who had a recent snowstorm. And the author is April Stott. Coco and Bear were friends from almost the first time they met. They were very different. Bear was big, Coco was small. Bear was shy and Coco was brave. But they were exactly alike in the most important way. I like that you're kind, said Coco. That's my favorite thing about you too, said Bear. I also like that you're such a good dancer, said Coco. I wish the animals knew all the good things that you know about me, sighed Bear. They don't? Asked Coco. Bear's looking at a sign that says no bears. They say that I must be mean because I'm so big, and some of them are afraid of me. Noodle strudel, said Coco in disbelief. Yeah, said Bear, sniffling. Coco gave Bear a big, tight hug, because that's what made her feel better whenever she was sad. After Bear got some of his sadness out, Coco said, "My grandma always says, when life gets dark as winter's night, share some kindness, bring some light. If we can do that, maybe the other animals will see what a good, kind bear you are." "But how do you share kindness?" asked Bear. Coco thought a moment. "I think kindness must be something that you can give away, like a gift. We can bake cookies to share," suggested Bear. "Yeah," agreed Coco. "But how do we bring light?" asked Bear. "Let's make lanterns," said Coco. "They're so cozy." "I have supplies in my cave that we can use," offered Bear. Then they're making cookies and making lanterns. When they were finished, they loaded up Bear's sled with all their gifts. "Ready?" asked Coco. Bear nodded. "Ready," but then he whispered, "and a little scared." "It's okay to be scared," said Coco, "so long as you don't let the scariness stop you from sharing kindness and bringing light." The first stop was Badger's house. Badger was not impressed. "I only eat cookies with worms in them," he said grumpily. "Would you like a lantern instead?" asked Bear. "How am I supposed to sleep all day with that light in here?" said Badger. "No, thank you." Looks like maybe they woke him up. Next, they tried Rabbit's house. "Why would you bring me gifts?" asked Rabbit. "We want to show you how kind my friend Bear is," said Coco hopefully. "What if you're trying to trick me? A big bear wouldn't want to be friends with a small rabbit like me." "No, thank you." They didn't have much luck with Hedgehog or Skunk either. "I'm ready for a break," sighed Bear. "Maybe we need to make some different gifts and try again tomorrow," said Coco. The walk home was cold, and the only sound was the crunch of paws and boots through the snow. Until... "Help!" "Did you hear that?" asked Bear. "It's coming from over there," said Coco, pointing. She leapt off the path and... flump. She's up to her waist in the snow. "Quick, climb on my back," said Bear. "Help!" came the cry again. And they go off looking to find the voice. "Why, it's Baby Deer," said Coco. "What are you doing way out here?" she asked. "I went on an adventure," said Baby Deer, shivering. "Oh, we love adventures," said Bear. "I do too," said Baby Deer, "but now I'm stuck." "Don't be afraid," said Coco. "We can help you." "How?" asked Baby Deer. "You can ride on my back too," said Bear. Baby Deer, where are you?" the animals cried as they searched. Now all the other animals are searching for Baby Deer. "Here I am," shouted Baby Deer. "I got stuck in the snow, but Coco and Bear found me. They gave me a ride home." "Oh, thank you," said Mama Deer. "Wow, good thing Bear is so big," exclaimed Rabbit. "And brave," said Hedgehog. "And friendly," added Skunk. "I guess he is a kind bear," grumbled Badger. "Bear, did you hear that? They finally figured out that you're kind," exclaimed Coco. "But I don't understand," said Bear. "They didn't want our cookies or lanterns." "Your lanterns came in handy after all, but helping Baby Deer showed how kind you really are," explained Mama Deer. "But we just helped because it was the right thing to do," said Coco. "Exactly," said Mama Deer. "I guess kindness is about giving away love instead of gifts," said Bear. "It's doing something nice without expecting to get anything in return." Coco looked up at the stars. "I think I get it now." "Get what?" asked Bear. "When life gets dark as winter's nights, share some kindness, bring some light." Coco grinned and started tapping her foot. "But Bear, there's one more thing that the others still don't know about you." And then they danced and danced. The end.
Now Mark Laskatov has the social action minute on behalf of the sister church team.
Please help me remember the 10 lives taken by white supremacy in Buffalo, New York last week. Let's say their names. Roberta A. Drury, Margus D. Morrison, Andre McNeil, Aaron Salter, Geraldine Talley, Celestine Cheney, Hayward Patterson, Catherine Massey, Pearl Young, Ruth Whitfield. Their lives mattered. 7 or 8 years ago, Clair Memorial United Methodist Church and First Unitarian started a relationship we call Sister Church. Relationships between organizations are made of relationships between individuals. Relationships between individuals are made of interactions between individuals. I like to think of Pastor Portia Cavitt as a friend and a social justice warrior. Next Saturday from noon to 4, Clair will host a block party in their parking lot with music, face painting, free food, clothing, and household items. Doves will be released at 2 p.m. to honor the families that have lost loved ones to COVID-19. Everyone is welcome. You can help by donating gently used household items and clothing to Clair at 5544 Ames Avenue from noon to 7 p.m. this coming Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. When you drop off your items, say hello to Juanita, Sandy, James, Regina, Linnell, or one of the other lovely volunteers at Clair.
It's time to share joys and concerns. If you're online, you can put items to be shared in the comments area of the YouTube stream. And we hope as we're getting used to YouTube instead of Zoom that we can access those and share them here with the people who are in the congregation today. If you have ones that, if you have joys and concerns that you have written, they will be shared with you by Colin. And if you think of something you want to share with the congregation, the slips are available in the entryway. You can fill one out, and he'll be happy to share it with the congregation.
Okay, we have 2 that have been submitted in advance. One from Nadine Keith, who says, happy to have had a lovely conversation with Janet West from her home in Phoenix. Great news. And one from Mary Thomas, who says, wishing Caben Thomas a very happy 60th birthday. He had to work today and couldn't be here, so happy birthday to Caben. See if anything comes up in chat here on YouTube. Just give it a couple minutes. And it does not look like we have anything at this time.
Thank you, Colin. Let's continue in a mood of meditation or prayer. I invite you to get comfortable in your seat and take a few deep breaths. Let us open our minds and hearts to the place of quiet, to the silent prayer for the healing of pain and the soft, gentle coming of love. Every week we take up an offering in support of our liberal religious values. Half of the loose currency in the offering plate is donated to a cause with a local presence which advances important principles of Unitarian Universalism. Our Share the Plate recipient for May is Black and Pink, an open family of LGBTQ prisoners and the free world allies who support each other. Their work towards the abolition of the prison industrial complex is rooted in the experience of currently and former incarcerated people. This organization responds through advocacy, education, direct service, and organizing. As offering plates are passed in the sanctuary online, you can find a link and see the and find where you can make a contribution. And now EMR will share a gift of music, I Am Light by NDRE. The reading this morning is from the book of Revelations in the King James Version of the Bible. And in the Spirit he carried me away to a great high mountain and showed me the holy city Jerusalem coming down out of heaven from God. And I saw no temple in the city, for its temple is the Lord God the Almighty and the Lamb. And the city has no need of sun or moon to shine upon it, for the glory of God is its light, and its lamp is the Lamb. By its light shall the nations walk, and the kings of the earth shall bring their glory into it. And its gates shall never be shut by day, and there shall be no night there. They shall bring into it the glory and honor of the nations. But nothing unclean shall enter it, nor anyone who practices abomination or falsehood, but only those who are written in the Lamb's book of life. Then he showed me the river of the water of life, bright as crystal, flowing from the throne of God and of the Lamb through the middle of the street of the city. Also on either side of the river the tree of life, with its 12 kinds of fruit, yielding its fruit each month, and the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. There shall no more be anything accursed, but the throne of God and the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall worship him. They shall see his face, and his name shall be on their foreheads. And night shall be no more. They need no lamp or sun, for the Lord God will be their light, and they shall reign forever and ever. Our guest minister today is Reverend Portia Cavitt, pastor of Clair Memorial United Methodist Church, which, as Mark said, is a sister church to this congregation. My observation is that Pastor P, as she likes to be called, is tirelessly committed not only to her congregation, but to the wider community. She's president of the Black History Museum Board, volunteers at neighborhood schools, organizes health care efforts, and oversees a community garden, just to name a few of the things she does each week. In this past year, her work has been recognized by UNMC for her work in organizing vaccine clinics and with the Gallup Hope Award from the Kids Can Community Center. We are pleased to welcome Reverend Cavitt to our pulpit.
Thank you, Nadine, for that kind introduction. And to the First Unitarian church members and those that are joining us online, thank you so much for the invitation to come and to share with you today. I feel right at home, for as you heard Mark say, it's been 7 or 8 years having shared with this congregation, getting to know many of you through conversations or sharing in various events that we've had either at Clair or here at First Unitarian. But I want to take this time to say thank you for your support in the various ministries of Clair, and especially for the giveaways, the Lot to Know party in May, and the Christmas giveaway, where many of you bring items to share with the community. But then also for those of you that are supporting the Clair Cares food pantry that we do every third Saturday, for many that come and bring their items on Thursday, or some will bring them on Friday, and even those that have helped us to make the boxes in the midst of the pandemic. We have to develop the boxes, and we have a drive-through pantry, so everyone receives the same items, and we have served between 150 to 285 persons a month. And so I want to say thank you for your donation. Thank you for your friendship and your kindness. And then for those that love to work in the garden or in the dirt or the sunshine and the open air, we have a 39-plot garden at 55th Street and Ames Avenue. Most people might not know that it's a part of the church, but in the pandemic, I've had to give leadership in that garden because our gardener was over 65 or 70 and could not come out during the pandemic. So for 3 years now, I have learned everything there is about gardening, and we are producing a lot of food. Some neighbors have plots, but the church has at least 20 that I take care of. So morning and evening watering, pulling weeds, harvesting are my favorite times. But in the midst, we are now planting all of the plots, and we install 4 raised beds because there were some seniors that wanted to do gardening this year, and it's too hard for them to bend over. So we had to raise some plots, and even getting the dirt from the parking lot down to the garden. So I'm developing muscles that I didn't know I needed or had. But truly, if you are feeling adventurous and would like to garden, please give me a call, say what time you'd like to be there. I'm normally at the garden by 8 a.m. I like to get my work done early before the sun beams down on me, and so I would encourage you to come and to share. But First Unitarian, thank you so much for all that you do for others, and especially for Clair Memorial United Methodist Church located in North Omaha. There is a word from the Lord, and I recognize that I'm in a different space, and as a preacher, I'm a preacher by heart when God gives me a word and to share, and so I pray that whatever I say, that you would allow the Lord to move on your heart, that the Lord might indeed reveal the message that he has for you, that he has shared with me. You've heard the reading of the scripture. Nadine read it so beautifully, but I want us to think about revealing light as we recognize that the Lord God and Jesus is the light, that there was no need for a temple in that New Jerusalem because there was indeed light. When I thought about it and was listening to her read, and just want to point out a visual for us this morning, if you were to look up at the lights that are above you, I noticed in the back that the 2 lights are a little bit of a darker hue than the rest of the lights. But inside is the same light bulb that is reflecting. And so we have to recognize that God is indeed moving, or the higher being in your life is moving within you as you reflect the light that has been placed inside of you. It might not be the same, but it's still the light that God has. So reflect and reveal the light that is within. When I think about light, my mind drifted quickly to Amanda Gorman's 2021 inaugural poem entitled "The Hill We Climb." It was a powerful call to action of hope, of unity, healing, and resilience. She was challenging Americans regarding the grit of struggle with all the too real problems we face in the United States and around the world. She was encouraging us to find our voice and to find our purpose. When she said, "There is always light if you only were brave enough to see it, if you are only brave enough to see it." Do we really see the light that is shining in the midst, whether during the day or at night? I want to say thank you for the reading of the book. Yes, we have to show forth kindness. Yes, we have to recognize the light in the midst. The dark days are upon us, but if we reveal the light, the love that is within us, so much in this world can be changed. And so in the book of Revelation, while John was on the island of Patmos, we find this Jewish Christian prophet receiving a vision. He's receiving an unveiling apocalypse of what is to happen. And here he's trying to challenge and encourage believers in the midst of opposition and persecution. There is so much opposition and persecution in the midst of our world that we need to encourage one another. But then we also have to challenge one another, because in the word, Jesus says to us, "Let your light so shine that others might see your good works and glorify your Father that is in heaven." And sometimes in the midst of shining your light, sometimes in the midst of doing your work, others might not understand nor be receptive, but you still have to allow that light to shine. And how do I know that the light is still shining, that I don't have to tap into OPPD? I just have to recognize that God and Jesus is among us, that God and Jesus is with us. He comes every day when we open up our eyes and are able to see a brand new day. Then we know that the life and the light of the Lord is upon our lives. He's lighting our path along the way, and we have to reflect that light the same way that a bicycle light or a car brake light or backlights reflect the light that is shining through them. Whether it's red, whether it's green, it's black or yellow, it does not matter, because as light reflects, is shining, is glowing, that others might see and recognize that it might be for them to overcome the dangerous times that they are in the midst. And so at the heart of this book, at the heart of John's teaching, he's helping us to understand the vision of a communal society that centers around the biblical practices and hope in regards to humanity's relationship with God as well as with one another, how we ought to relate one to another. It's important for us to get to know one another. You can't assume that you know me. I can't assume that I know you unless we have a conversation, unless we share where we are and what we think and how we feel. How can we say that we're in relationship and we know one another unless we are sharing? We have to realize that the church building is just that. It's a church building. But the work takes place outside of the building in relationship with other people, in interacting and helping to expose the injustices that are all around us. And we recognize that there is injustice in the world. You heard of the rentless that seems to come more often now than it did in the past, of the killing of 10 persons on a Saturday afternoon going to the grocery store, that a young white male saying that he was feeling moved by white supremacy, that he chose where he wanted to go. But then I don't want you to stop there and think of the recent incident, but think back when those that were gathered at Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina, had gathered on a Wednesday night for Bible study, not closing the door or turning away a young white male that came in. And there he shot and killed 9 persons. But we don't have to stop there. We can go back year after year, generation after generation, and recognize that there has been evil and terrorist attack against people of color, those that are marginalized, those that are minority in the midst. And we have to shed the light and to recognize that what has been done in the past is still happening in the future. When I think back in 2020, 2020 when the pandemic come, and some say that the pandemic has revealed the light and the oppression that people are facing. No, all it did was cast a light that you might see more clearly what has always been around us. But yet, when I think about how there were those that were being vaccinated, and they were saying that you had to wait your turn or until your age came up, or there was not enough large spaces in North Omaha, or better yet in South Omaha, even though One World was a clinic and Charles Drew, that we had to speak up to reveal the light on the discrepancies of making sure that everyone had access to the vaccine, access to health care, access to what was needed. We have to realize as servants of God that as we see the world, we've got to reflect that which is not good, that which is not right, and shine the light that it might reveal what needs to take place, what needs to happen in our lives. Yes, I want to say how tired I might feel every day at the dawning of the day or the sun going down, but it's one that as I reflect the light to make sure that everyone is receiving what they stand in need of. What about you? What are you doing to help someone else? If you are comfortable in your life, is someone else comfortable in theirs? Can you do more than what you are doing? Mary Frances Winters describes black fatigue as the day-to-day small acts of aggression or small acts of disrespect that black people endure. The endless need to prove your worth, the constant exposure to news media reporting about injustice and violence being inflicted on people that look like you. It gets tiring to have to hear and to see that that's mainly the news that's being reflected, that's causing other people to say, no, I don't want to go to North Omaha. No, I don't want to be in that neighborhood or in that part of town. But it's the light that someone else is reflecting and only showing the negative things in life. But we have to realize that as we stand, as we take our rightful place, that we are casting and reflecting a beautiful light. Not everyone is bad. Not everyone is a criminal. Not everyone thinks negative about somebody else. But that we have to be willing to come together. And so what we need to understand is, how do we take care of ourselves? How do we trust people that don't look like us? How do we trust and make sure that we are encouraging each other to be the best that we can be, to offer to one another? Because the answer that I have in my own mind is the deafening silence of those of the majority, those that feel that they have nothing to lose, those that are in the midst of understanding that I'm okay and you will be too one day. It's time for us to expose and to embrace and to recognize that we have to deal with the white power and the white privilege that we find ourselves in the midst. You can read all the books that you want to read, but unless you utilize the knowledge and the understanding and put it into action and shake some branches and raise your voices and lift to bring about a change, you're just reading to receive knowledge, but not bringing about the change that we need. We've got to address the murderous acts of terrorism right here in America, whether it's on black persons, whether it's on Hispanics or those that some will call illegals, whether it's on our indigenous brothers and sisters, we have to raise our voices. We have to stand with them and for them, not only speaking when we're talking to them to say that we encourage you, we support you, but also speaking to the powers that be, those that you are in connection with, those that you are sharing with, not afraid to lift your voice, not afraid to say that is wrong and we ought to do more. We've got to speak up, and dare I say that you have to speak up and to address the injustice, the racism, and the bigotry that we find in our lives. Because if we don't, we're all living in the same world. It's the same light. The sun rises on all of us. It sets the same. We lie down, we get up, we go right back at it again. If you want to see change, we've got to fight together for social justice and equality. We've got to recognize that the powers that be, the one that created us, that sustains us, is still in the midst of our lives and calling us to bring about a change. Yes, we want to change, but the first thing we have to say is, change me, O Lord, change me, work on me that I might see, that I might bring about the change that needs to be. There is always light if we're only brave enough to see it. You've got to want to see it in order to bring about the change. Reverend, what are you saying? We've got the insurmountable problems that are all around us. Urban sprawl, environmental degradation, paralyzing gaps between rich and poor, separation because of race, creed, or sexuality. We have to recognize and understand what is happening among us, whether you're male, female, whether you're young or you're old, disabled or not. We have to come together to bring about the change. We're living in a world where everyone ought to be united as creatures, as human beings, that we have a right to be received for who we really are. It's time for us to come together, to join permanently as Christ with God as a light in New Jerusalem. The Lord is looking for us to reveal the light, the love, the peace, the patience, the understanding, the acceptance in the world in which we live. Omaha can indeed be a changed place. Omaha can indeed be a better place for all of us that are gathered here together. But we have to recognize to be the instructable, shining lights of the Lord. What change can we bring about? We can bring about change for those that are undocumented, those that are unassured, those that are unsheltered and unemployed or underemployed, that all might indeed enjoy life and live it to the fullest. I don't know about you, but I want to make sure that life is what God would have it to be. For Maya Angelou wrote, "My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style." She's saying a lot right there, that your life mission is not only for you to survive, but to thrive. But is that the same word that we're giving not only to our children that are growing up in 2022, but are we encouraging those young adults, those seniors that have been living their lives so long, saying take a back seat, that they too have a right to have some love, to have some compassion, to have a little bit of humor, and to understand that they have something to offer in this world. It's up to us because life is only a reflection of what we allow others to see. What is it that you're reflecting? How is your light being shown and shared with others? For as a revealing light, we've got to expose darkness for what it really is. You heard the story for all of us. When life is dark as winter's night, share some kindness, bring some light. We've got to be the light. Today, we've got to allow our lights to shine that others might indeed see. And how will we see? We'll see because those of us that are blessed and are pure in heart, we shall see God. I want to see the Lord for myself. I want to see what the Lord has in store for me. But I also want to see what the Lord has in store for you and for others that cross my path, that we all might receive and be the best that we were meant to be. And so I pray that as the lights are shining above us, that we would indeed be the revealing light to bring about the change that is needed in the world in which we live. The Lord is among us, and we give thanks for what he is doing in our lives. God bless you.
Please stand as you are able, in spirit or in body, and join in singing the closing hymn. The number's right up there. What is it? I can't find it. Thank you. In the gray hymnal. Thank you. Extinguish your chalices. Those of you at home that have lit them, please extinguish them now. Find the right paper. I have a few announcements. The first is that, as you've heard references today to the Clair Shares Pantry, which is held the third weekend of every month, we're asking that members of First Unitarian Church who are coming to church in person next Sunday bring food items to share with the pantry. We'll have a collection box, our big collection box that we use, and those items will be taken to Clair for the next food pantry sharing with the community. Then I wondered if anyone else had announcements for the church that haven't been otherwise shared. Yes? Do you want to talk about what you most need in the food pantry?
Thank you for that question. What we try to do is make sure that we provide meals for families, so box meals come in handy, canned chicken or canned fish. We try to make sure in the cold months, chili or soup is still good, crackers, so that families can feed peanut butter and jelly. You know, you just can't have peanut butter. You got to at least put some jelly with it, and then box cereal. So keep in mind that children will be getting out of school this week or by the end of the month, and they will be at home. And so we want to try to make sure that we provide meals. Fresh produce, that's why we're building the garden. That's why I'm working tirelessly. We planted kale, collards, lettuce, green peppers, tomatoes, squash, zucchini, eggplant, you name it, I've planted it. And we want to make sure that we provide those fresh items for the community. One other announcement, if I may. Since we are all in relationship together, I have the pleasure of serving as the first female pastor of the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance, the IMA. I will be installed on Sunday, July the 10th at 6 p.m. at Clair, and would love my brothers and sisters of First Unitarian and the city of Omaha to come and to share in this historic moment as the first female pastor of clergy. And so I thank God for the light that he has shined on me, but that he's allowing me to shine in the city of Omaha. Thank you.
We'll make sure that gets in the e-blast, so everyone who's here and not here will know about that, and we would love to have a representation there. This last announcement, which you heard last Sunday, I'm going to share again. It's from the YRUU about their All Ages Talent Show fundraiser. It's it's on June 3rd, but this coming Monday is the sign-up deadline. So, do you have a secret talent you've been dying to show off? A stunning singing voice, bedazzling art, be able to tie 10 cherries in a knot while doing the hula? Then we want you to perform for the YRUU Art and Talent Show. A free will donation, this will be a free will donation event and will take place both in person and online via Zoom. The funds raised will be donated to the Afghan Refugee Project to purchase a season pass to the zoo or some other summer activity for our sponsored Afghan family. So whatever you think you might be able to share talent-wise, go online by tomorrow and sign up to participate. And before that talent show, at 6 o'clock on June 3rd, is going to be the June Community Night. It's going to start at 5, and it's going to be held in the garden so they can be setting up downstairs for the talent show. So in terms of the community night, they say it's a BYOB, bring your own basket, blanket, beverage, whatever you might need to participate and be a part of that sharing on community night. And with that, I say, go in peace, embraced by the light and warmth of our gathering. Go in love, ready again to struggle on. Go in beauty, shining forth like a lamp for freedom. Amen.